Hey everyone, I wanted to show you how I cut the vinyl for my altered frame, and I'm using the Imagine application in the Gypsy, and I have Lyrical Letters set here, and I'm on the Cricut cartridge Lyrical Letters. I just went to this little icon, pulled up Lyrical Letters, and I chose the letter Loop-de-Lil here, and I chose the Shift Lock button because I wanted to use capital letters. And I'm going to go ahead and choose the L. And I'm going to change the size of the L to a 2.4, and as you can see I already did this. I have it set at 2.4, and that's because my frame that I'm going to be working in is an 11.5 by 6, and 2.4 letters will give me nice spacing and also fill up the whole frame. And so I'm going to hit apply, and then I'm going to go ahead and select the other letters in my word, and the word's going to be love because it's going to go in my bedroom for my husband and I. And I'm going to be cutting this out of some black vinyl. I've never cut vinyl on my Imagine before, so this will be a learning experience, and I'll let you know what the settings are. I know the settings for an expression. I have the blade at a 6, the blade depth at a 6, the speed at a 3, and the pressure at a 3. So I'll probably try the same thing with the Imagine and see if that works as well. As you can see, the letters here, they really don't take up too much space, about a 3 by 10 or so, but I think anyone who has an Imagine knows that the mats are not as sticky, so I like to choose sometimes a bigger area to work with. So I chose about a 6 by 6 piece of vinyl that I cut that I'm going to run through the Imagine, and hopefully it'll look like this when I bring it out, and I will put some transfer tape over it and transfer the vinyl to a page that I'm going to put in my frame, and I'll show you that as soon as I get this cut. Thanks! Okay, I also wanted to show you on this screen here, on the Gypsy, for cutting on the Imagine, here's the speed and the pressure, and I'm going to change these both to 3, but I wanted to show you how to do this in case you didn't know. And the blade depth that I set at 6 is going to be on the Imagine itself, in the housing unit, and I can show you that as well right here. So I changed this to a 6 on my Imagine. Okay, so I have my Imagine cutting, my vinyl. And we'll see if this works. It doesn't look like it's going to. It's kind of bubbling up. And I wouldn't recommend doing this with your finger, but I'm not scared, so I'm doing it. To try and stop it from bubbling. I don't know if I've got it cut in too deep, perhaps, or if the mat's just not sticking that well, and I'll be able to tell that here soon when I go back to pulling it up. So maybe what I have set for the expressions isn't going to work so well for the Imagine. So this will be a little lesson for me and for you. Hopefully you won't have to make the same mistake. So when it's finished, I'll go back and take a look, and I'll let you know what I decide. Okay, so my Imagine finally stopped cutting, I should say. And if you can see here, what it did was the depth of the blade, I'm guessing, is probably the problem because it's set at a 6. And so it completely cut through. When you work with vinyl, you don't really want it to cut all the way through. So I'm going to try a little something so that I can save this. I'm going to go ahead and put my transfer tape on the top. I'm going to peel off the centers like you're supposed to. And I'm going to hook my transfer tape on it, and then I'm going to try taking off the sticky back. I don't know how that'll work, but I don't want to lose this. And if I can get by without taking it or recutting it, the good thing will be that I can actually use each individual letter on a piece of transfer tape, which I want the word to go vertical instead of horizontal like this, so it'll actually be better. So if it works, I'll let you know. Now, if you want to cut vinyl and you want to use a transfer tape over it, I would suggest setting your blade to maybe a 4 or a 5. 6 ended up being way too deep. And now when I've cut vinyl on my expressions, I've always done a 6. So on the Imagine, that's not going to work. It's too deep. So you're going to have to go a little bit lighter on your blade pressure. Or I'm sorry, on your blade depth. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled out the letters from the vinyl. As you can see, it's still got the backing on it. So I was able to pull out each individual letter. I think a 5 is going to work best for your blade depth when you use the Imagine, because there were some spots that I had to tear out. So I think a little bit less depth on the blade will help. So I would try a 5. I'm going to go ahead and take my transfer tape that I have, put it on top of my letter, and then I'm going to peel off the back and see if I'll be able to peel off the backing without peeling it off of the transfer tape. And then once that's done, I'll go ahead and position it on my paper in my frame. Okay, so I chose a piece of paper from the DCWV Luxury Stack. It's a blue kind of shiny piece of paper that's really pretty, that'll match our bedroom. And I cut this at an 11.5 by 6. And here's the cardboard that came out of the frame. And I'm going to attach this piece of paper to that cardboard so that I know it's centered. And from there I'm going to do the letters, L-O-V-E, down this way. And I'm going to show you how I do that with the frame so that I know it's being centered exactly where I want it within the frame. But first I'm going to go ahead and attach this piece of paper to the cardboard using my ATG adhesive. Okay, so I want to show you what I'm doing. I have these pieces of transfer tape cut. This is the sticky side and this is the non-sticky side. And I'm taking my letter, sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand, and I'm going to stick it in between the transfer tape and the non-sticky side. And then I'm just going to roll this back over the letter, so that when I roll this back over the letter, the vinyl letter will be stuck to the sticky tape and it'll be protected between these two pieces. Typically you don't have to do this. Typically you can just run the sticky side over your letters and it'll be fine, but because mine cut out this way, this is a good way to not have to recut your vinyl. So I'm going to stick it in here. I'm going to close this back up over it so that it looks something like this, and then I'm going to really rub down the letter in between the two pieces and then peel it back. So there's my letter. Now it'll still have this backing on the vinyl that I'll have to peel off before I adhere it to my paper. Okay, so now I have my frame. I have my piece of paper on the cardboard in here, and I've taken out the glass. Taking out the glass allows me to see where the frame is and how the letters are going to line up within the frame itself. So now I kind of have my letters laid out and where I want them, and I'm going to go ahead and start adhering them one by one to the paper, leaving the other ones in place so I know how much room I have in my frame. Okay, so I got all my letters pushed down, and all I did was I took the letter off of the transfer tape, put down the transfer tape. After taking off the backing actually came off really easily. Put down the transfer tape, and then I pulled at a real sharp angle to take the backing off. And my letters are all attached to my pretty paper in my frame. So now I can put the glass over it, and then I'm going to put some pretty little embellishments on the side of the frame as well. I think. We'll see. It looks kind of pretty, almost like this all by itself with a really pretty paper. So maybe I won't. I might add some trim and see what I think. Okay, so I went ahead and added some embellishments to the frame. This is a rosette from SA Crafters Online. The trim is also from them. It's just a little white trim I added. These roses are mulberry paper, and they came in this color, and I used some Glimmer Mist. And I can't remember the shade of blue of Glimmer Mist. And I Glimmer Misted this and dried it. And then added these pink flowers, which are Recollections flowers. And then just these little sprays. And I was able to complete my frame. And there it is. And I'll take some better pictures to show you as well.